Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to check out a Tisas. Now this one just came out here for 2024. I saw it. I was really kind of looking forward to it. I haven't seen too many reviews out there on it, just the SHOT Show ones. This is the Tisas Duty 9DS. Now we got the full size model here, and you do get this nice hard case with it, some accessories, but the big thing here is this firearm. This is the budget end of a 2011, right? You do get two 17-round mags, but there's a lot of great features here. And this is all for $799 is their MSRP, and I've seen them for cheaper. So let's get to the important stuff. Let's get down onto the table. So now that we're down on the table, we've got our Tisas Duty 9DS down here with us, our nice new 2011. It does come with a fairly decent box for that $799 price point. And here, we'll get her open. Spin it around, get a good look at all of the accessories that it comes with. So you do get your typical gun lock. It's nice, it's kind of signature, it says Tisas. We have a cleaning brush. It is kind of just a soft brush. It's not anything really hard. Nothing, you know, not like the bronze brushes that you get or anything like that. So a soft brush, and then they actually do give you a loop so you can clean the gun. So I mean, if there is something there and you are gonna clean it, at least you have the stuff to clean it with. Now behind this whole piece comes out right here. You can see it looks like our manual's back behind there. So we do have our manual. I mean, it's going to be your standard manual, good table of context. It does give you kind of how to lock it up, how to check it, a good kind of overview of your firearm. And then there are disassembly instructions as well, making sure that you can get this firearm apart. See, pictures always make it easier, especially when you are disassembling. It talks about the optics cut, so if you wanted to put a red dot in there, anything like that. Some of them do come with magwells, so they show you how to put it on or take it off if you have a magwell on there. Then it also talks about how to clean the firearm, which is pretty nice for somebody, especially if they don't, you know, this may be their first or they're not really sure how to actually work with this firearm. So you can see we have the Duty 9DS, but they also do make a carry version of this firearm. So nice little manual there. Bottom half, which is great, it does come with two magazines. So they are steel magazines, and they are the STI cut, so you'll be able to run other magazines. So ones that go with staccato, ones that go with Springfield. I have the Springfield mags today we're actually gonna try out. You do get a tool for takedown, because this one is just like a 1911. It does have that bushing in the front. We also have one magazine in the firearm, as you can see here, and they're both 17 rounders are what you get. So two 17 round double stack magazines there. And here we are going to check the firearm. So we'll lock that slide back. We'll look down inside of there. We can see that it is unloaded before we begin the rest of this talk. So let's move this box out of the way for now, and let's get into the firearm itself. So now if we're looking at it, we do have a nice looking firearm, a good grip. You have a generous trigger guard, and you do have that 1911 kind of skeletonized trigger in there, as you can see. You do have a pick rail in the front. It's not a full dust cover, as you can see, but the dust cover does go pretty far. You do have a nice barrel. So again, this is the 5-inch model, so you're gonna have a 5-inch barrel. We're running an overall length of 8.6 inches from back here to our grip safety to the front of our barrel. We are running a height right here of 5.7 with these flush fit magazines. And then we also have a width of 1.5 inches here. We're running a 32.5 ounce weight unloaded. So we're also gonna check some of the loaded weights as well. I'm gonna put 17 rounds in, one off to the side like always, and get this one a good look at. Now, we do have a trigger pull here. It's around 4.75 pounds, so 4 3/4 pounds here. And let's check out that trigger right now. So if we do have it, we've got to depress that grip safety. We do have to make sure our safety's off. Go ahead, you can see there's just that little bit of take up. You're on a solid wall, and then it's gone, right? So let's check reset. Oh, it's really tactile. Really nice, crisp reset. It really wants to push your finger back out right there. A little bit of take up after that reset, and then bang, back on that trigger. So that's really nice. We do have a nice single action trigger, so again, not a double action trigger. So you'll have to have it like this. You have ambi safeties, one here and one on this side, so you can carry it cocked and locked. It does look like it comes oiled pretty well. I'm going to disassemble this for the first time here with you guys as well. It does look like it does come fairly oiled though. So that might be something that you're going to have to clean up prior to getting it out to the range. You also do have your grip safety as well. So, you know, if you're a competition shooter, some people pin these, well, you know what I mean, make them so they stay that way. And then we have our mag release. So we do not have a ambi mag release, and it doesn't look like it is swappable either. So you're going to be stuck with that right-handed mag release. We do have a small cut right here in the grip, as you can see, kind of where it's smooth, where you can get your finger there, but not a big undercut underneath the trigger guard. We do have a pretty generous trigger guard. You can see it squares out a little bit, and we do have some texture on the very front of that trigger guard. So if you're going to be someone that wraps your hands and maybe puts your finger over the trigger guard, there's different shooting styles out there. You may like that. There is some texture here, but it's not a lot. It's not super aggressive. I'm thinking maybe if I keep this, I really like it, I'm going to put some grip tape down the side panels here. I mean, there's texture, but it's nothing to write home about. On the back, though, we do have some nice texture here, and on the front grip, we have quite a bit of good texture. We have a bit of a flare at the bottom, so kind of a built-in flared magwell. And they also build an additional kind of build-out point for a flared magwell. But that magwell is very smooth. You can see it's got kind of a built-in flare on that firearm. We do have front and rear slide serrations, so you can really check, press check. Go ahead and rack that very easily. We have our slide stop here. Super easy to activate. Again, if you're familiar with the 1911 platform, we can use circle to reload, if you get the joke. It's very good, very nice, solid platform. It's won us 2 world wars, so why change it? But now we've got these nice double stack setups here. If we want to get into the barrel, the frame, and the slide, you're going to be really impressed because it is forged 4140 carbon steel. We do have a nice Cerakote black here, and the grip, it is polymer, so you can see it's got kind of a bolt-on polymer grip on this lower portion of the firearm here, but it is a reinforced polymer, it is glass-filled, and it does feel really nice. It's got a good width, so when you get your hand in there, you've really got a lot of purchase, a lot of areas, and these safeties, if you can see them, you can really ride those safeties. They've got a nice flat spot, so when you're there and you need a support hand, you can really apply some good grip on this firearm. You can put some pressure pushing down, get you a good spot to ride that safety. The safeties are very intuitive when you have them on. I mean, they flip on and off very easily. You can see I can easily flop that. I mean, there's no resistance. You know, I'm going up, getting my grip. It's going to be very natural, and I can just leave my thumb there and ride that safety as I'm getting a better grip on this. I can ride my release if I wanted to. So you have some parts that stick out. They're going to help you get a very good grip on this firearm. If we want to get into the sights, we do have kind of a Glock set of sights on here. So they've got the Glock dovetails, but you're going to get a standard serrated rear. You're going to get a white front dot on the front, not night sights or anything like that, but they are kind of combat sights. I've been working with this dry fire a little bit just to kind of check it out with the Mantis, and it seems like you need to put your dot at the top of here, so combat sights versus just regular kind of Glock sights where you're lining everything out. Now again, you do have that full pick rail, and it gives you all the names right here, so you can see Duty 9DS Tisas from Turkey. So I mean, that's a cool little signature thing there, a little thing that you wouldn't expect from some firearms. Now, when we get to this too, our optic mount. So we actually have a direct optic mount, no plate needed. If you have a 507K footprint or RMSC footprint, you're gonna be able to remove this cover right here. And you need it to be slim, right? Because this slide is very slim. It's gonna be easy for you to have that. You don't have a big bulky optic here off the sides of your 2011 here, or your 1911 9DS, whatever you wanna call it. Now we talked about the magazines as well, and we talked about maybe some compatibility here, but something else that's really cool is the compatibility with the slides. If you have any of the other Tisas 9mm slides out there, you can actually swap them and they'll work with this frame. So they're built off the same kind of frame system. So if you have any of the other, you know, slides from the 9mm out there and you're a Tisas fan and you want to put those on here, you can. So you can get a two-tone gun. I know they have an FDE one. I know they have kind of like a green 9mm. So a lot of different things there. It's also designed to fit a lot of the standard 2011 holsters. So sometimes when you get an off-brand gun like this, it's hard to get a holster. But this one, they really thought about all that stuff. They want to design a good platform that everybody could use. Again, this is going to be your budget end. You could get this or the Commander version for that $799, but I've seen them all the way down to around $750, $700, somewhere in that price range. So if you're trying to get into a 2011, this might be where you start. This would be a good spot, especially if you don't want to drop $1,000 or $2,000, $3,000, or $4,000 on a staccato maybe, or something like that. You could get into one for, you know, $800 and not really have a ton of investment. Now the 17 round mags, they are very easily to get in there. They do come out pretty easy. They don't really shoot out. They just kind of come out, right? And that's the one thing. I think this needs a slightly larger mag release. Now it does have a pretty big mag release, but I got little hands, right? So to get this, a lot of the time I'm really gonna have to scooch around, and it is pretty tight, so it'll have to break in over time. But the mags, with that fluted mag well right here, they really are just easy to stab in there. You can come from distance and they'll go right in there. There's a genuine funnel kind of built into this firearm. It makes it very easy for you to really get those mags in there. Again, comes with those two 17 rounders. So you do get two out of the box. Sometimes when you get a budget firearm, they're only coming with one magazine. Now, we talked about having some mag compatibility. So I do have a 26 rounder. This is what I could get. So now I won't have to worry about running out of rounds. That'll give me 27 rounds out on the range. And this is for the Prodigy, but goes right in there, fits securely, and it locks back on that slide. So it does work. I think any other STI mags are going to be really easily to be using this. You don't have to get the 26 rounders. That's just what I had available in my area. So I have to order some other ones. And we do know these can get pretty pricey. These are around $60. I've seen other ones, STI ones, in the $80 range. So it all depends on where you get them. Now, Tisas does have these listed on their site for $49 a piece for the 17 rounders. And you can get those, but right now they're out of stock. So I think just getting the firearms out into the market, they're really just worried about, you know, having enough for that prior to really selling them. But they will at some point in time, I'm hoping, have these. They have the nice Tisas branding on them. You can see just that double stack 17 rounders. Easy to take apart. They've got a little detent you push here. You're able to remove this bottom piece here. So if you want to work with them, you need to, you know, take them apart. Maybe the spring's messed up. Maybe you need to clean them out. Just a pretty simple disassembly there. You can see. And then you have your follower, a little stuck in there. Yeah, it really is stuck in there. You grab a pencil here, help push that out a little bit. So it is pretty tight fitting in there, but you've got your follower, your spring. You know, everything looks pretty good all together. So, you know, if you're gonna put that back together, just funnel it in there. Make sure your follower gets all the way up. Go ahead, put our plate on. Whoop. Threw it at myself. Go ahead, we'll put our plate on. I had that one backwards. There's the way it goes, this way. Push that down. Get it to fit in that footprint. And then we take our cover, slide it right back on. So easy to take apart if you've got to clean them or you've got some issues. Maybe it gets jammed up or anything in there. So they take apart very similar to any other magazines out there. So a nice looking mag, a nice looking setup for this firearm. Again, we do have these ones. The STI mags are working, and this is one you can see. This is the Springfield Armory mag. It has the logo right there, the 26 rounder. Went in there, locked back, worked well. Now these mags do have small stripping cuts on the bottom, so when you have them all the way up in there, you can see there's a little bit sticking out, so if we're ever to get stuck, you do have some small leverage points on there that you could strip that out of there if possible. Now we're gonna go and we're gonna get some weights. We do know this weighs 32.5 ounces unloaded, so let's see what it weighs when it is loaded up. So let's go ahead and do that. I'll get that mag loaded up, we'll bring the scale over, and we'll go from there. So we have our firearm here with our scale. So this one is unloaded. We're gonna check that unloaded weight so we can get a poundage here. So we're looking at 4 pounds, 10.1 ounces for an unloaded weight on this firearm. Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna drop that magazine. We're gonna put the full magazine in there. So you can see we're loaded up to 17 with this one. So with your 17 round magazine, boom, and one in the chamber, we are gonna be running 5 pounds, 5 pounds, 9.1 ounces. So 5 pounds, 9.1 ounces for that one. I don't know why I couldn't read that. So we didn't put one in the chamber just to be safe that way. But I mean, all that weight is actually going to be nice, probably help you handle recoil, and we'll know because we're getting this out on the range tomorrow. So I really am excited for that. I was really excited when I did see this at SHOT Show. I wanted to check this out. So we're going to unload this. We're going to get into the disassembly now. So now we have our disassembly instructions. That's going to be on page 21 in your manual. This disassembles very similar to any 1911 you've ever had. So this is a bushing firearm. So the first thing we want to do, safe direction, right? We want to make sure it's in a safe direction. We want to make sure it's unloaded. We want to drop that magazine. I'm going to check the mag well, and then they do give you a wrench. You don't need it. You can do it by hand. Those of you that, you know, have done this before, you're going to know that for a fact. But we're going to use this today just to see how well it works. A lot of the 1911s do come with these, but you can't just do it with your finger as well. So the first thing we want to do, we did check. We got our safety check. We're going to bring this forward, okay? And we're going to make sure that everything is good to go. So we can drop that trigger and everything, or drop that hammer, drop that trigger, okay? And go from there. So the first thing they say is you want to go ahead and you're going to rotate your plug, right? You want to be able to remove this. So again, you can do this by hand, rotate it. They say clockwise. So if you get this wrench, which I think I might want to just do it with my hand, rotate it out, but you also have to think like this is a captured spring. It will launch, right? It'll take off like a bat out of butt. So again, we have our cap. We're going to pull our spring out, right? And then again, the bushing, we're going to rotate it back 90 degrees. We're going to remove that barrel bushing. And then what we've got to do is we need to line up our takedown notch. So our notch is here. We need to line it up over here. It's a little tight there. Safety's off. Make sure I wasn't being dumb. So a little bit of tunnel. There it is. Oh, she's sliding. Seems like that guide rod in there is just, there we go. Sliding around in there. So once we line up our notch here, they do give you a tool to help you push the other way. But I've always been pretty good at just, you know, if you give this a couple wiggles this way, this comes right out. But you can also go to the other side. They give you this tool, push this out, and then you've removed your slide stop, slide release there on the firearm. And then you're able to disassemble that firearm. You're able to pull the barrel out. You're going to be able to pull your guide rod spring there. Remember, non-captured recoil springs here. And then trying to take it apart like a Glock man. You can tell I haven't done a 1911 in a while. So the barrel comes out the front. I was trying to take it out the back. You just get comfortable with doing things like that. So again, this is going to be your assembly inside of the gun running up against there. Oh, wrong piece. So that's your spring assembly. Remember, non-captured. This is my bushing for the front. It's actually, everything looks like it's really nicely made. It's all steel. Even this, is this plastic? Nope, that's steel. So we have, everything's metal components internally. You have a nice barrel. The barrel is, you can see it's really got nice rifling. It's 1 in a 10 rifling inside of there. Everything looks really nice, really well done. It does not seem like a budget-ended firearm, if you ask me. It does all have a nice light coat of oil on there. You can see it looks like they really oiled this up to get it over here. But you can see all your mechanisms. You can see your safety. You can see where your grip safety is. You can look here internally, see your mag release. Okay, you can see all of the different components here. See what your hammer is, kind of that skeletonized hammer in the back. I mean, it's all got a beefy set of rails. So again, those are metal. And this part's metal. The only part that's polymer is the grip. So this is that, what's that? That steel. So you just have steel here. It looks like it just bolts right on there. Yeah, the inside's polymer. So just this polymer bolts right on there. But the rest of this is steel. So the steel components are here. Steel components for your safeties. Even, you know, all this stuff right here is metal. And then you just have that polymer section here. So that's actually pretty impressive. And it wasn't hard to take down at all. I mean, 1911s aren't super hard to take down as it is. But that one seems pretty good. See if there's any lightning cuts up here. Oh, nothing really, no lightning cuts. The slide's got a pretty good weight. You can see where they test fired it. Looks like at the factory. A little bit of striations from the brass there. But it's a nice looking slide. It's a good weight. I don't see really any imperfections, right? Looks like there's some stuff in here that you need to clean out. But I mean, it's just oiled, I think, to keep it from rusting as it's being shipped. But everything looks really, really well made. It looks like it's got, again, quite a bit of oil in there, so they're really set up for being able to, you know, be shipped. You got your extractor here, making sure it's clean and oiled. So that's it, all the way taken apart. So again, it doesn't really tell you how to put it back together. It just says do the steps in reverse. Again, if you're familiar with 1911s, you'll be able to get this back together. So again, we're gonna have to put our barrel in first. Make sure we get it in there the right way. Don't try to put it in like it's a tilting barrel like I just did. Get everything set up. And then we need to put our guide rod in there just to get it all set up. Make sure it is half moon, so you want that half moon facing up on there. Just pop that in there. I always kind of stick it towards the front just to make it a little easier for me to put together. And then easily all you've got to do, line it up on your slide rails like always. Get that back there and then just put it back together, right? Give it a little wiggle. Everything seems to be going pretty good. Of course you say that and then the guide rod gets all goofy. So, oh, fell off to the side there. So we'll get this together. There we go. The guide rod's in there the right way. Okay, now we've got to get everything lined up. Again, you're going to have to pull back to that takedown notch. It does seem like that guide rod binds up a little bit as we're dorking around here, trying to get this thing to go back together. So, wiggle that guide rod a little bit in there. There we go. A little too far. There we go. So we got that. So next is going to come our piece, but we need to make sure it goes through the barrel. So there's that loop on the barrel, so you want to make sure that it's going through there. You can get it in front, you can't get it behind. You just want to make sure that you're getting it and you're capturing it. And you don't want to scrape this, so you want to be very careful. I always start kind of downward, push upward, and that clicked right into place. I mean, this came apart and went together very, very easily. I'm really impressed on how easy that was. Put it back forward. So now we're gonna put the recoil spring in, now that we've got that. So we're gonna get our bushing in, pop that thing in there like that. We're gonna rotate it the other way to get it out of the way. Slide this piece in, get our recoil spring on there, guide rod all together. Push this down and boom, there it is. And then lastly, you always wanna rack it a few times. And if you want, you can grab kind of a different kind of bullet or not a bullet, a dummy round, throw it in there, but you can just dry fire it, point it in a safe direction. Again, this is pointed right at my floor. No one is downstairs, I'm in the basement, so then we're gonna pull a trigger. Looks like it functions, looks like it resets. Now we are good to go. For that package, for that price of around $800, I think this is going to be a great package on the range. I really like this flared magwell. The trigger, I'm really enjoying that so far. It feels really crisp. I think that it's a good package. Even with the two mags here, I would like the followers. You know, I always like the bright colored followers. That's my biggest complaint about anything. But I'm sure you could probably swap those out. I'm sure they sell all kinds of different stuff. So all in all, I think this is a pretty good package. A good firearm. Those slide serrations are super easy to grip. I mean, even once we get this going and we have that depressed, I mean, just racking it for the first time, I mean, that slide feels good. I mean, it really is comfortable in the hand. That trigger is really nice. The only complaint I have is the mag release. I would want maybe some texture on there. I'm gonna go and look and see if I can find something here to maybe put a textured mag release on there. It really just is missing something, right? And I'm not sure if I know they make other models of this. They do make kind of like a, you know, one that you get into $1,000, one that's, I think the next one up is like $980, almost $1,000. There's one that's a little over $1,000, getting you closer to a Prodigy and things like that. But these are pretty much the cheapest entry-level 2011 you can get. The one before this was the Apollo 11, and I did look at that, but I'm kind of the person who likes to kind of hold a gun prior to buying it, and I do think that the Apollo 11 looks pretty cool, and I've seen really good reviews on it. But this Tisas, you know, 9DS Duty, really, I'm really excited to get this out to the range tomorrow and test it out. So look forward to that one. Appreciate you guys checking out the review. Let me know if you have one. Let me know if you have any upgrades. Let me know what optics you're running on there, so maybe I can run something like that. See you next time. Thanks for watching our video. Make sure to hit that notification bell so so you don't miss out on any of our future videos. If you like the video, make sure to like and subscribe to our channel.
Comment below. We want to hear from you. Get more content from family firearm reviews by joining our Patreon and checking out the links in the description.